Hello language learners. I was talking to one of my subscribers a little while ago and they said something that was really interesting to me. And what they said was that Duolingo was too easy for them, which is fair, is totally fair, depending on where you are in the language, how you learn, what language you're learning on Duolingo. It can be easy, which is both a good thing and a bad thing depending on what you're looking for. However, one of the things that's really cool about Duolingo is that it's so popular, so widely used, that it means there's a lot of user-generated options for it. So basically, taking Duolingo as it is can be great in a lot of situations. However, there are some little tips and tricks that I've discovered along the way to make Duolingo a little bit more difficult, to, exercise different language skills that are kind of lacking in Duolingo, kind of making it more well-rounded. It can improve other skills, it can make it a little bit more difficult for you, it can make it a little bit more interesting to you, all these kinds of things. So I want to share those with you. There are a ton of these, but in this video I'm going to talk about 4 specific ways to change up Duolingo a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult for you or addictive for you, depending on the resources that I'm talking about. But if you've been looking at Duolingo or you tried Duolingo and there's just like a little something missing or you couldn't focus on it, some of these options, some of these tips and tricks might help you out and might give you that motivation, that challenge to keep going, because in my opinion, Duolingo can be a really, really, really awesome resource. Right now, my French strategy is literally just Duolingo. So, I mean, that'll obviously change with time, but right now where I am in my French and in my life, Duolingo is like a solid option. So let's get into it. The first resource that I'm going to be mentioning is a Chrome extension. I have an entire video on Chrome extensions that aren't Duolingo, but are also really, really helpful for language learning. Link below in the description to check that out if this is something that's, interesting to you. But this Chrome extension is made specifically for Duolingo and it's called Will Save, which is a really generic name. So like if you go to willsave.com or you just Google Will Save, it's not going to be very helpful. I recommend Googling Will Save Duolingo. But generally the idea is that Will Save prevents you from spending too much time on social media or any other places on the web, and instead encourages you and kind of forces you to study Duolingo instead of wasting your time, which is really awesome. I definitely use Duolingo to avoid social media a lot because social media is such a time drain and Duolingo is really helpful for that. I'm gonna go on to Instagram. Hold up there, traveler. Unstable time sphere. Okay, causing time to pass faster, ain't that the truth? It's only safe to browse if you drink a potion of will. You're all out of potions. Each time you complete 10 XP, 1 lesson or review in Duolingo, you'll get Potion of Will. Brew potion, open Duolingo. I did a Duolingo lesson. Now if I go onto Instagram, I have a Potion of Will now and I have to choose to drink a potion. 1 potion, okay, so that means I get 5 minutes. Drink a potion. Okay, so I have 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes to do whatever I want on Instagram and any other websites that I want to peruse that I have specifically blocked off in the settings of this extension. In the settings, you also have the option to change however many potions you get per session. So, you could do a Duolingo lesson and that gives you 20 potions. That 20 potions adds up to like an hour or whatever, version that you decide to go with. Completely customizable, and it'll really, really help you focus on not endlessly scrolling through social media or getting yourself distracted and procrastinating. It'll really, really encourage you to work on your Duolingo. Now that, mixed with some of the other extensions I'm going to show you in this video, can really make a big deal when it comes to how Duolingo can help you. Now, another issue or struggle or weakness of Duolingo is that there's very, very little speaking practice. For one, there's just not a whole lot of speaking in Duolingo. For 2, Duolingo depends completely on voice recognition. I don't really like voice recognition. It's just, the tech isn't there just in general, not specifically to Duolingo. I don't like depending on voice recognition at all. So even I personally like to turn off voice recognition when I'm using Duolingo. I feel like it's kind of like a waste of time. I'll sit there and I'll say the word or phrase like 10 times correctly and it won't let me move on. So I just turn it off and I save my speaking practice for something like Speechling, where it'll actually help me with my pronunciation. However, that does mean that I'm missing out on practice, and my complete inability to feel comfortable pronouncing French words at the moment is a result of that. I knew that was gonna happen. I chose to do that regardless. That's just, you know, where I am in my French. However, if you want to take full advantage of speaking with Duolingo, have I got the Chrome extension for you. It is called LipSurf. Now, LipSurf isn't specifically for Duolingo. It's for a whole lot of different things to do on the internet, on your computer. However, it does support Duolingo in a variety of different languages. Let me just show you. For this one, I'm going to go with Spanish because, like I said, my pronunciation with French is eh.
¿Tú comes manzanas?
¿Tú comes manzanas?
Yo como, tú comes, él come.
I eat, you eat, he eats.
Yo bebo agua.
Yo bebo agua. Yo como pan. Juan come manzanas.
Él come manzanas.
Él come manzanas. And look at that. All with just my voice. So that was hello speaking practice. So as you can see, even though I didn't have the actual speech recognition option enabled in my Duolingo, all of those exercises I could answer by speaking. I did an entire second extension for Duolingo, went through the whole thing. It's not until now that I'm looking back through it that I realized it didn't work. So the lesson here is that even if technically if you look up Duolingo extensions in Google and you find a bunch of them, because like I said, there are a bunch of them, that doesn't mean they're going to work. So the rest of this video, the beginning of the video and the rest of the video, they're all tried and tested and true, and they work. I made the mistake of not realizing that the extension I was trying to show you didn't actually work. I have one last trick up my sleeve with this video, and this one is a little bit more limiting, but if you're using Duolingo to study one of the 4 most common languages to learn, then this could be of great benefit to you. Am I like an 18th century British professor now? It is of great benefit. This one is not a Chrome extension, but it is a free website that is kind of hard to find. I stumbled upon this one. There's nothing in it that really like jumps out at people. It's like Will Save. It's like kind of a vague name, and if you didn't know how to look for it, it's not something you could easily find, which is why I am so happy to share it with you. This is a website called LanguageFlashcard.com, which is a really vague title, really vague website URL, and says nothing about Duolingo, but it is strictly for Duolingo users. Specifically, if you're using Duolingo to learn German, Spanish, French, or Italian. So that is a lot of Duolingo users. I'm assuming as time goes on, more languages will be added to this. Maybe it won't just be vocabulary, but as of right now, this website is just for those 4 languages for a very specific function. Basically, the person behind LanguageFlashcards.com wanted to study the vocabulary in Duolingo separately because Duolingo is not really specifically for vocabulary. It's more for building sentences, which is a very valid skill to build, but a lot of times words kind of get lost. You study a word a bunch of times in one unit and then you never see it again. With this website, it can be really helpful to take these vocab words and learn them consciously, consistently, so they actually get into your mind. So here we have LanguageFlashcard.com. Really simple site. Here we have German, Spanish, French, and Italian going by the country's flags. I'm going to continue through Spanish. And from here you get all the different units that are in the Spanish Duolingo tree. You select whatever lessons that you want to work on. Let's do objects, for example, and nature. You can select all, you can deselect all, you can select as many or as few as you want. I'm going to start. So el cielo is the sky. El aire, the air. El planeta, planet. La columna. Let me get this wrong. Let's see what it does. The sky. Nope. Let's see. Show answer. Ah, the column. Okay. So let me do that. Column. Okay. La rueda, the tire. That's not the tire. I forgot what it is. The wheel. Potato, right? La célula. I don't actually remember. Show answer. The cell. Derp. But you get the point of what I'm saying. You can also switch from English to Spanish. So the cell. La célula. Nope. Show answer. Aha. See, it marks it wrong if you don't have the appropriate accents, which is awesome. It doesn't do a whole lot, but what it does pretty well. That's a pretty solid way of refreshing your beginner words, your base words, especially if you're going through Duolingo and that's helpful for you. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, you get correct 13, wrong guess is 5, so you can keep track of where you are in your vocabulary. That is all I have for this video on ways to make Duolingo just a little bit more difficult or a little bit more helpful. If you have some of the common complaints of some Duolingo users, if you have any other resources, Chrome extensions, websites, stuff like that, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to add to my list. Otherwise, I will see you every other Monday at my blog at crashculture.com and every single Wednesday and Sunday right here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.